These stories out of the Appalachian Mountains are getting freaking nuts. This experience happened to one of my followers. He doesn't want me to use his first name, but we're going to refer to him and his family as the Chandler family. This story takes place when he was 13 years old, and he says that he and his family decided to go and stay at a cabin on the top of the mountain in North Carolina around Christmas time. They were coming from Florida, and it took them about 12 hours to get there. And when they arrived, they dropped all their things off at the cabin, but they were pretty hungry. So they headed to an Italian restaurant in a small little town about 30 minutes away from the cabin. So they get there. It takes a little while longer than they were expecting for their food to come. And at one point, his mother went outside to smoke a cigarette, and she noticed it started to snow, and they were not prepared for this at all. So they quickly finished up and headed out the door. They all jumped in the car, father in the driver's seat, and they all headed up the mountain. He said it was snowing pretty hard and it was very slippery. They didn't see any other vehicles up there for a while. And then all of a sudden, a snow truck came out of nowhere and they had to swerve around it. And they ended up spinning out of control. They ended up stopping right up at the edge of a drop-off. So they all collect themselves, and the dad kind of drives the car away from the edge and then keeps on pushing up the mountain. And then it happened. An 8-foot creature came lunging out right in front of them, and they made impact. They hit this thing. So the mother jumps right out of the car and goes to see what exactly they hit. She goes around and she makes the loudest screech they've ever heard, and she flies back around, jumps into the car, and is just like, go, 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 get out of here. And she wouldn't say what she saw at first. So they're driving back down the mountain now, and the brother turns around and looks out of the rear window, and he sees it. He describes this creature as being very long, likely around 8 feet tall, with unusually smooth gray skin. It had blood red eyes and a large psychopathic smile across its face. So they drive all the way down and get to the nearest gas station, and nobody says a word the whole drive. They are all just in shock. Just when things couldn't get any worse, their car breaks down. The father says, we're going to have to leave the car here and deal with it in the morning. And he says, we are going to walk over to that hotel. And after a 30-minute walk in the snow, they get to this hotel and they get 2 rooms for the night. 1 room for him and his brother and another room for the parents. So they all get showered and comfortable, and he's talking to his mother now, and he's inquiring about what she actually saw. And then he shares with her what he saw. She said that when she walked around the car, she heard her son's voice. He was saying, "Mom, help me, come here." And she looks in that direction and she just sees this thing towering over her. She sees its massive, menacing smile that had teeth that looked almost human-like, but obviously it's not human, and its big red eyes looking down at her. And that's the moment that she screamed and ran and got back into the car. So satisfied with that answer, he decides that he's gonna get some sleep. But despite their best efforts, he said, I don't think any of us got very much sleep. So the next day, he and his brother decide they're gonna walk back to the car to get a few things. And this just keeps getting crazier. So they get to the car and they noticed that in what looks like dried, B-L-O-O-D, are the words, "I can still see you." So they quick snap a picture of it and they fly back to the hotel, wake their father up, and they show him. And he jumps up, gets dressed, and he goes back over to the car. So he gets there, he sees it, and he opens the door, and he is hit with this horrendous stench. He says, we'll deal with it later. And they walked to the nearby car rental place, got a rental car, went back to the car quick, and noticed that that B-L-O-O-D was now gone. And he opens the door, and now that smell is gone. So they decided that they're gonna just press on, go back to the cabin, and grab their thing. By the time they made it back up to the cabin, it was around 7 p.m. It was starting to get dark, so the dad decided to make the decision that they were just going to stay in the cabin for one night and then head out the next day. Knowing that they were in the Appalachian Mountains, he thought this is a really bad idea. He was into the paranormal and he knew about the tales and what they say surrounding Appalachia, even about the rules. And he was kind of protesting a little bit, and you could tell his mother by the pale look on her face was on his side, but the brother was kind of like, it's going to be fine. And they were back and forth about it. And he finally opens the curtains and says, "See, there's nothing to be afraid of." And then all of a sudden, there starts a pounding on the window. This pounding is getting louder and louder on the glass, and at first they rush over to close the window. But unfortunately, now the glass has shattered. So they scatter, and he and his brother hide under one bed, and the mother goes and hides under another, and the father is standing his ground. This menacing, psychotically smiling, gray, slimy, tall creature starts to crawl through the window of the cabin. So the father grabs his gun and he takes a shot at it. And he goes on to unload a full clip in this thing. And he said it didn't seem to hurt it at all, but it did end up scaring it back out of the window. And they knew they needed to get out of there, but they were too scared to leave now that it's dark. So they all stayed up all night watching that freaking window. They waited until sunlight. They packed all their things up, put it in the car, and they headed home, and they drove the 12 hours home, only stopping for gas and fast food. You know, this sounds a lot like a story I told a couple weeks ago. Similar description of the creature banging on the glass until it broke, jumping through the window. Drop your thoughts in the comments. I am sure my follower will be checking them out. If you have your own creepy Appalachia story, I need to hear it. And if you are new here, you gotta follow for more creepy story time.